No two brows are identical. They are not. So we only try to make them look alike, but they are not identical at all. So don't be too focused on trying to make it look perfectly the same. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Adeola and it's good to have you right here, okay? And then for those of you that have been passing through this channel and have not subscribed, if I offended you, you don't like my face, why have you not clicked that button? It's just a click. Just click on the button and subscribe to my channel, okay? I promise you it will be worth your while. So how is everybody doing? I hope we're all keeping safe. We're taking care of our health, our mind, and our body. This week has been all shades of news, and thankful for the stretch of good news that has been rolling in. And I know that 2020 still has a lot in stock for us, irrespective of what might be going on around the world at the moment, and irrespective of what has been keeping us down. I strongly believe that 2020 is still a fruitful year for every one of us, okay? So let's get right into it, ladies and more ladies. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at our brows, ladies. Our brows. I see all manner of brows, all shades, dark, fair, thick, bushy, and I'm always like, why are you doing this to yourself? Your brows should look flawless, and you don't need to break the bank for your brow to look good, okay? You don't have to be a pro, so to say, for your brows to look good. I think it's just we miss the technique behind what your brow should look like, and that's why we just go with what we see. So very simple way to just get that perfect brows looking all natural. And please, a number of things that we get wrong as ladies is that we feel our brows should look very thick and black. No. So if you look at your brow, your natural brow, without adding the pencil, you would notice that it is not looking black, okay? It's black because it's hair, it's black, but it's not like thick black. So why should you not apply pencil and then it's looking like charcoal and it's looking black? No, that shouldn't be the case. Your brow should look as natural as it was looking even before you added your brow pencil, before you applied your brow pencil, okay? And I think some people also feel, oh, because I use Davis pencil is black, so it will automatically make my brows black, and I can't afford the other types of pencil and all that. That is also wrong. With your Davis pencil or Air Woman pencil, those 15-hour pencil, you can still achieve that natural looking brows, and it's not looking so black. And you understand what I mean, okay? For me, depending on my mood, depending on the event I have a number of pencils that I use. I use this Beautyline by Didi. I use Flawless. I use Flawless. I have Davis. Okay. I also got this one one time. I can't remember what's the name now. SO Aesthetics. Aesthetics. And then one other pencil that I also love using is Yanga Browlition. I already ran out of that, so I don't have it anymore. I've not been able to restock that. I need to restock that. But basically, irrespective of the kind of pencil you have, you can still achieve a natural looking brow without breaking the bank. You can use your 15, I think it's 100 naira, not 15 naira. In Nigeria, this pencil is 15 naira or 100 naira, depending on where you're getting it from. You can still use it and have a fantastic looking brow. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to use, you know, the top brand and all that. I'm going to use this Flawless by Ivy sculpting. I'm going to use this Flawless brow pencil on one side of my brow, and I'm going to use, you know, Davis pencil. It's Davis now, Abby. Yes, Davis pencil on the other part of my brow. I haven't, you know, applied anything on my brow. So what you should note if you're using this kind of pencil is that you should always have a pointed tip. The tip has, that's why I mentioned earlier that sometimes we don't get the technique behind it. So at every point in time when you're you know, carving your brow, please make notes and take notes rather that the tip of your pencil should always be this pointed. It should always be this pointed because it helps to give that, you know, thin line other than the thick line. So you want to get a thin line, not a thick line. Am I making sense? I think I'm making sense. So yeah, I also really particularly like this pencil because it's 500 naira Nigerian currency. It gives, you know, that natural, you don't have to stress too much, you know, just apply. You're not putting in pressure, you're not doing anything. And I like that it has pulley at the tip that I can always use. If you notice, most of my pencils, they have spoolie at the tip. This one too. The younger Browlition I also mentioned, you know, has a spoolie at the bottom. So if you want to get any of these pencils, I will leave a link below in the description box where you can, you know, get these pencils and other beauty products. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I said I will use this on one side and I would use this on the other side, just so you can see that irrespective of the kind of pencil you're using, it is the technique that matters, not necessarily the pencil you are using. The pencil too goes a long way, you know, in relieving you of some stress. But if you know the technique, you will be able to work with any pencil that you have. Okay, all right, after all that has been said, so let me start with this. So what you should do is that, you know, you comb out your brow. Yeah, let me use it. Just brush it out. If you have an oily skin, you would want to prep your brow before you start. For me, if I have a major event, like I know I need my brow looking, you know, peng all through for a number of hours, while I'm prepping my skin, what I do is apply a bit of pond on my brow. I just, you know, rub it in and then let it go. Otherwise, if it's just a regular day makeup, I'm going to work, or I just need to visit somebody, I apply this invisible oil blocking press powder. So I'm just going to show you how I do that real quick with this brush. So what I do is, you know, get some of this invisible oil blocking powder on the brush and I just, you know, dab it in. If you have a setting powder, you can use a setting powder. So you just dab it in. This oil blocking powder, it helps me just, you know, makes my brow ready and sucks out the oil that might be there. Okay, once your pencil, you know, is this pointed, what you need to do is come underneath your brow, you draw a fine line. Notice that I'm not starting the line from the beginning of my brow. This is the beginning of my brow, but I am not starting from there. I'm going a bit in before I start. So just a fine line. Just follow the trace of your brow, basically. do not apply pressure. Why I'm not starting the line from the beginning of my brow is because the first pressure of the brow might make it thick, and also because we're trying to make the brow look as natural as possible. If you look at your natural brow too without the pencil, you will see that the beginning of the brow is typically not as full, you know, it gets fuller going into the brow. So thin line, no pressure whatsoever, no pressure. Okay, I have my thin line. Then I can from here come back here just a little bit. I don't have to do that. Then I come on top, I'm not starting from the beginning of my brow to draw a fine line, just go right into it. Okay, yeah, so I kind of have a framework of my brow. What I will do is, you know, give very light strokes, so that your brow is not looking thick. Okay, just very light strokes, very light strokes, fam. Remember, we're not putting in pressure, no pressure whatsoever. So once you're done with this, I know you see a lot of video where you say your hack is somewhere. For every person, for every woman, for every man, every human being, we have different face shapes. So how face A's brow, you know, grows and how it appears, the shape is different from how yours will appear. So for most of these, you know, beauty routines, makeup, face, when you want to contour, it has to do with the shape of your face. So when you look at your brow, you would naturally see how it gravitates. Do you understand how it goes? The shape in which, you know, it forms. So just follow that shape. You don't necessarily have to create another shape on your face. That's why it looks odd on you. Do you understand? Just follow. Is your brow is supposed to look very natural. So after filling the brow with the pencil, you just come back and brush it in. Just brush it in. In the process of brushing, if you feel like there's some places that you need to retouch, yes, of course you can go back to retouch it. But remember, it shouldn't be dark, no pressure, just light strokes. I'm going to use this other pencil for the other side. So real quick, let me just do that. Okay, can you see that? No stress at all. You're not putting so much pressure in it. Okay, so you have your brow drawn up now. Then you brush it out as much as possible. What you should also take note is that no two brows are identical. They are not. So we only try to make them look alike, but they are not identical at all. So don't be too focused on trying to make it look perfectly the same. Okay, don't be too focused on that. Okay, after that has been done, another thing I notice is that when ladies conceal, you know, try to define their brow, you notice that, you know, you can see like straight lines, like it's obvious that concealer had passed through that place, both on top and below. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, we shouldn't know that you tried to, you know, your brow shouldn't look like an artwork. Do you understand what I mean? It shouldn't look like an artwork. It should look as, you know, easy, free. You should just look natural. I don't know what other English to use, but it shouldn't look like an artwork. It shouldn't look like, you know, a painter or an artist came to draw. Okay, so to conceal your the bottom part of your brow, you can get a concealer that is a shade lighter than yours, just to highlight the corner of your brow. While I'm doing it, you understand what I mean. And for the upper part, what you should use is your foundation or a concealer that is exactly your skin shade. Do you understand? Because if you use a lighter shade, it's going to appear. You will struggle to blend it out. It will just naturally appear that you have a lighter concealer up there. Okay. So I'll be using LA concealer, LA Girl Pro in Fun for my lower brow. So I'm just going to get a bit of this. It's slightly lighter than my skin color, so I'm gonna have that here. Okay, so brow brush, or you just get an angle brush or a flat brush. I've had this since like forever. I can't even remember what brand it is, but I really love it. I also have this brush, Evita Joseph flat edge in G3600. Okay, I love this brush too, but I just always gravitate towards this when I have time, you know, that I want to spend, you know, time and carve my brow like very well. I use this, but for every day I just need something that's I'm done. I use this. So okay, just get a bit of the concealer. It shouldn't be too much. If you are going for an everyday look, it shouldn't be too much that you won't be able to get out. So oh my goodness, what you do is you notice I'm also not starting from beginning here. I'll explain to you why that is. Okay, get a bit more here. You can see I'm not trying to draw a thin line. Okay, so that is the part that you need on your brow to be highlighted. That is the only part, and that is where you should use a concealer that is a shade lighter than you. That is the only part, fam. That is the only part. So I'll come right here and do the same thing. Okay, just pull it out like this. Just make sure that you're defining it straight and pulling down the concealer. If you're using a concealer that dries quickly, you will need to immediately, you know, dab it into the skin. Sorry, I'm trying to look for my brush. Okay, so just get brush to clean it up. Clean it up real quick before it dries, because if it dries, it can be very difficult for you to then blend it in. So what you're doing is to just blend the concealer into the skin. Okay, just blend it in. Oh sorry, I overdid that. I overdid that. I cleaned it out, so not to panic. That has been corrected. Okay, so going in with a concealer that is, you know, more like my shade now. Okay, with the same brush. So what I do is wipe out the lighter shade off my brush with a tissue. I just wipe it off. I'm not using a wipes because then the wipes makes the brush wet, so you just use a tissue to clean it out, clean the light shade out. So oops, so I come with, I dab into the one that is my skin color and then use it to clean out from where this one began, where the lighter shade began, to the beginning of my brow. I hope I'm not speaking gibberish. You guys get what I mean, right? Okay. All right. Can you see that you can barely see that concealer? Exactly. That's what should happen. Unlike what you see on a regular. Yeah. Can you see that? Can you see that the concealer is not visible? It's not supposed to be visible at that point and on top of the brow. So with the same concealer, I'll go up. And please notice how I'm placing my brush at the top of the brow now. When I was doing the one for the bottom, the brush was positioned this way. But for the top, because I want to blend it out, I am positioning the brush like this. So that way, just bring it. And then just, you know, just trace the brow. Trace the brow. Trace the brow. Okay. Come to the other side too and do the same. Trace. Okay, just clean out the excess pencil and trace the brow. Is that easy? Okay, trace it. That's all. Back with this, I just dab it in. Okay, because this concealer is, you know, more like the shade of my skin, it's easy to blend into my skin. It will just naturally blend into my skin. Okay, so as you can see, I have blended it in. You can barely see the concealer on top of my brow. That's what your brow should look like. So once I'm done with that, I just go in with my powder, dab it in, and then, you know, just finish it up. Finish it up. And then I go back with this my invisible oil blocking powder. I go back to get some. You remember we already dabbed, we already blended the concealer in here. So I just do that and come back here. If you don't have this invisible oil blocking powder, you can use your normal powder to just get some form of powder there to reduce the oil, the shining oil. So I can use, you know, my powder. I'm going to use my powder, and I use Milani powder. Just go back in my powder now. Just, you know, dab it in. dab it in, and then finish up with my eye look. Whatever it is I was doing with my eye, I just, it already doesn't matter anyway. So you can see that that part of your brow now is highlighted, which is good. So depending on what you want to go for, you're done with your brow at this point. If I want to highlight my brow, I just go ahead to highlight it with highlighter. This is purely, you know, at your own discretion. If you don't want to include this highlighter process, you don't have to, you're done. But I like to glow. I just come here, brace it in to just give my brow, you know, a nice lift. Yeah, that's all. Very little, very, very little. Shouldn't be too much. Less is more. Pretty much done. I just comb out with my brow gel. I just brush it out. I brush out my brow, you know, brush it out. This helps your brow to stay longer in one place. If you don't have it, there's no problem. It's not a compulsory something. Okay, just make sure you have carved and concealed the brow well, and your brow would, you know, serve you the entire day. So here you have it, guys. A natural looking brow. Remember that I didn't use, you know, the big names, the and when I say big names, like brow pencils, I didn't use, you know, the big names. I used the regular, very regular pencil, and I still achieved this natural looking, you know, brow. People also ask, when am I supposed to, you know, carve my brow? Is it after foundation? Is it before foundation? I just say there's no one way to makeup process and application. There's really no one. There's no, you know, one way like this. It depends on what works for you. Me, like you can see, I already had my foundation on before I did the brow in this video, and it didn't affect anything. I was still able to, you know, carve my brow, and it still came out well. Other times I decide to do the brow first and then do my foundation later. So it depends on you and what works for you. Basically, like I said, you just need to apply the techniques properly, you know, have a sense of what your brow should look like at the back of your mind before, you know, carving it, and have, you know, the basic techniques that you need, and you'll be fine. Okay, so for all of my subscribers here, female subscribers, I don't want to be seeing your brows looking one kind anymore. Okay, so you can practice and tag me on Instagram. My handle will be in the description box below. Let me know how you've been able to, you know, carve your brow. Very easy, eh? It's not as difficult as people think. A lot of people say, brow, I can never learn it. I think you just need to put your mind to it. Okay, there's nothing in it. Somebody is going to kill me with this I just said. Okay, so like this video, share, comment, you know, ask me questions, and I'll be glad to respond to them in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Tell your friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to tell other friends, and let's have fun here. Okay, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.